Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Player 2's Games to Watch 2024. Thank you for joining us. Today, we are looking at Australian games. Which Aussie games are coming to our systems this year? There's some good ones, so keep an eye on the list ahead.
Here we find Jot, the Plucky Squire, and his friend
Capes. It's hard for me to be more excited for Capes than I already am, and let me tell you why. The developers behind this new superhero turn-based strategy game are many of the faces that not only created Hand of Fate 1 and 2, but they are also the minds behind the stone-cold classic Freedom Force games. Seriously kids, you need to check those out. The elevator pitch for Capes is also a cracker. XCOM meets 90s era styled superheroes. What I've seen of the story puts me in the mind of Brandon Sanderson's Reckoning series, which also piques my interest. It's hard to see any box that Capes has failed to tick when it comes to my own personal tastes. Look, I have no doubt that this is going to be a banger. The team behind it are not only fantastic folks, but immensely talented, and their CVs are filled with credits on Australia's and the world's best games. Don't miss this one, folks. Broken Roads. Mad Max meets Fallout is an idea that I can absolutely get behind, and that's pretty much what we're getting with Broken Roads. A classic CRPG set in post-apocalyptic Australia, Broken Roads has clearly taken inspiration from the original two Fallout games in its approach to gameplay. This isn't just a straight-up copy. The game features an amazing approach to morality that is going to be super exciting to see play out. And there is an undeniable appeal to a game that is so chock full of Australiana that there is a built-in glossary for our overseas friends who don't quite understand Aussie slang at its finest. The game was originally scheduled to launch late last year, but it has been delayed for the final layers of polish. Fingers crossed, because this is exactly the sort of game I can see myself losing a lot of time to.
Putting one foot in front of the other. Down.
The Plucky Squire.
Mojo.
Everything, and I mean everything that has been shown of the Plucky Squire has been impressive to say the least. Took the internet by storm with its first gameplay trailer, and ever since it has been a regular on most anticipated lists from all around the world. Taking a whole host of classic game styles from 2D platforming to shumps to SNES era Zelda adventures, the Plucky Squire combines all of these into one epic game. To top it all off, it is overloaded with charm and humour. The only worry I have is that with this scattered approach to the different types of gameplay, is it becomes a bit of a jack of all trades and master of none situation. But my hope is that that isn't the case, because I think the world will be a better place if the Plucky Squire nails it when it hits our systems later this year.
To adventure.
Hollow Knight Silksong. At this point, it feels like Team Cherry is just holding on to Silksong to troll us all. Hollow Knight is widely considered one of the best Metroidvania titles of all time, and the thought of its sequel has had fans excited for years. And years. And years. Honestly, Silksong looks like more of the same. But hey, there's a lot of refinements and new mechanics coming as well. Surely 2024 is the year that Silksong arrives on all of our systems and blows us away with more pitch-perfect platforming, engaging exploration, and a hand-drawn style that looks better than most animated movies. Honestly, there is no one on this planet that is doubting that this will be an amazing game. Our only worry is that it gets delayed again and we still won't see it this year. Please don't let that happen, T-Cherry. We are ready and we want this now. Bears in Space. What a name. Seriously, if Bears in Space doesn't immediately attract your attention, then I'm not sure you're human. Thankfully, there is more to this game than a cool name. Bears in Space is an FPS that places a large emphasis on humour and full-on action. I was lucky enough to go hands-on with Bears in Space at PAX Australia 2023, and it played really well. It actually put me in the mind of the recently released High on Life, only without the toxic talking weapons. There's a similar vibe and obvious desire to lean into the absurd. The gunplay was also tight, with the action satisfying and a host of superpowers and gameplay curveballs to mess around with. In all, this is shaping up to be a cracking game. It may not be reinventing the wheel, but it is aiming to give players an amazingly fun time. With Bears in Space.
The machines.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Games to Watch in 2024. Make sure you head over to player2.net.au to check out the written version of this article. While there, you can also check out our news, reviews, previews, opinion pieces, podcasts, and all sorts of other crazy stuff that we decide to put up on the website. Make sure you like and subscribe the video down below. And if you like this video, maybe check out the one in the top left there. It'll lead you to something similar. Thank you for joining us, and we'll catch you next time on Player 2. See ya.
Their path to freedom.